We are on question 63, trying to find angle 8. We're still on the outside circle there. Remember, just as if we were on the outside here, we're on the outside here, even though that angle kind of exceeds outside the circle. All I do is take the arc length and divide by 2, so 220 divided by 2 is 110. Another example kind of looks like this. We're still on the outside edge, trying to find angle 8 there. We take the arc that we're given, 50 out here, and just divide by 2 and get 25. Alright. Remember, at any point, if you need to stop, rewind, please do so. Hope I'm not getting on your nerves too much yet. Alright. Next question, find x. We got x down here. Alright. We're given from here all the way around to there's 230. There to there is 90. Okay, what's left? So I did 360 minus 230 minus 90 gave me what's left of 40 degrees. Alright, so I went ahead and wrote in that 40 there. Remember, when we got an angle that's on the outside of the arcs, makes both arcs. So I'm going to take those two and subtract them and divide by 2. So 90 minus 40 divided by 2 ends up being 50 degrees. And then 50 divided by 2 was 25. Alright, segments that are inside. We've been talking about arcs and angles. Now going to the segments. Remember, if we're just given segments, such as the blue segment and the red segment, okay, remember it's the two segments on each other times each other will equal the other two on that same one. So I got 3 times 6 is going to equal to 2 times x. Go through and solve for x. X ended up being 9. Before we get too far, don't let that 11 mess with you. That's just what page we're on, so it ends up being 9. Alright, we're now on 66. Hey, same type of question as 65. We're given a red line and the great old blue line, and they're asking us to find x. And there's the bill. Alright, when we're asking to find x, remember it's 9 times 2. That's the red line. Let me do it in red. 9 times 2. And x times x plus 3. Remember, when you're doing this x times x, remember you got to distribute that x, and x times 3. We end up getting an 18 here and an x squared plus 3x. If you know how to factor, this is where I've told you go ahead and start factoring. Don't worry about anything else. If you don't want to factor, take 6, start plugging them in. 5, plug all in, see if they work. 3 is the only one that will work. 3 squared is 9.
Any and all students that have project equal, please report to the choice room.
Project equal.
Any and all students that have project equal, please report to the choice room. Thank you.
Awesome. So if we take that 3 and plug it in, 3 squared is 9, and 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 plus 9 is 18. If you plugged in a 4, that's 16 and 12. That doesn't equal 18. Either does 5 and 6. So once you get to this step, stop, plug in some answers, see what you end up with. Alright, moving on. We're on 67. Remember, we're on the outside. Remember, we're not doing arcs anymore. We're doing actual links from A to B and B to C, A to D and D to E. Remember that red line, we do the whole thing. So 6 plus 2 is 8 times the outside, which is 6, is equal to the whole thing of A to E. That's 4 plus x, not 4 times x. That's where you're going to mess up. Make sure you have that plus in there. Multiplied A times D, which is the outside of 4. Plug in that 4. 8 times 6, obviously, 48, no problems. Remember, you got to take this 4 and distribute it to both of them in there. So 4 times 4 was 16. 4 times x is 4x. Minus the 16 from both sides. Yada, yada, yada. Divide both sides by 4, and we end up getting x is equal to 8. If you're ever unsure, you think you did something wrong, plug 8 back in, see if it works out. Go back in, try 8 by 6. Try the whole thing, which is 8 plus 4 ends up being 12. 12 times 4, and see if it equals the same thing. Alright, next question. Find the perimeter and area. So perimeter is first. Obviously, if this one's 4.8, this one's 4.8. If that one's 3.2, this is 3.2. So found the perimeter, I just added all 4 pieces. If I added all 4 pieces together, ends up being the total, ends up being 16. So we can cross out these ones that ain't 16. Remember, area of just a simple rectangle, square, or parallelogram. We just multiply the length times the width, or sometimes they say length times height. Either way, it's 3.2 times 4.8. Ends up giving us 15.4. Alright, last one I'm going to go over on this page, and for Friday, 69, I think I got a great, wonderful picture I drawn. They give us 4 points, so before you even start, I drew those 4 points on there for you, A, B, C, D. I'll go back to it if you hold on. We're looking at the question. Determine whether it's a square, a rectangle, or a parallelogram, and then find the area of it. Alright, so after I graphed it, obviously we're not a square. We don't create 90-degree angles in every corner. We're not a rectangle. We don't create that either. So we'd have to be a parallelogram. So if you need to, go back, look, it's either got to be a parallelogram or parallelogram. Next big thing is, remember, it's length times the height of the parallelogram. Remember, when you plot these, you can just simply count over 1, 2, 3, 4. So I counted over 3. Remember, the height has to be that 90-degree angle, so I just dropped it down and counted 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Ends up being B.